One thing that pervades the human experience? Storytelling. From folklore to mythical creatures, every culture's chock full of them. From dragons to fairies, elves and ogres. You can find them in a tale that's told as if it was real. I find it fascinating to look over the origins of certain mythical creatures or cryptids. Some might seem plausible, and other ones downright ridiculous, as I have found. So prepare yourself for some of the most ridiculous creatures ever imagined. The vegetable lamb. The origins of the vegetable lamb is unclear, although it appears in both Jewish and Celtic folklore. They're pretty similar, plant-animal hybrids. Now, the vegetable lamb, it's believed to be attached to a plant by an umbilical cord, and it grazes around the area of the plant, but never far from the plant. The legend actually became popular in the 14th century because of the traveling writings of John Mandeville. Tell you what, if we had some vegetable pigs, I'd be a vegetarian. The Monopod. The Monopod is known in European folklore. It was made known by Pliny the Elder. As the name suggests, he is a one-footed creature. It was believed to live in Ethiopia, only have one leg, and could run incredibly fast. The name in Greek actually means shade-footed one. Basically what he would do was, because of his large leg and foot, he would lay on his back and put his foot over his head, as you can see in the picture. Although, where's the crotch? I'd rather not know. Oh, I love this one. The Tickbling. It comes from the Philippines. This is a furry's dream, because the Tickbling actually is a hairy humanoid with the head of a horse. It was said to live in the deep forest of the Philippines. What it would do, it would convince someone to go into the forest. It can imitate the voice of someone that you know, and once he got you in there, he would make fun of you and slap you across the face mercilessly. Then he would vanish, leaving you to find your own way home. In other words, he's just an a-hole. He's a horse, so I guess you can call him an ass. And it said if you want to ward him off, just wear your shirt inside out. It's probably just one of his pranks. Ooh, you can scare me off if you want to dress like an idiot. The Popobawa. This comes from Tanzania. This is where people enjoy hot weather, beautiful sunsets, and the men being sodomized in their sleep by an ethereal bat-winged creature. Yes, this one-eyed monster enjoys molesting men. They say he smells really bad. He's like a one-eyed flying ogre, as you can probably see in the picture. You know, I think this legend probably started with a gay man trying to convince his wife a supernatural entity attacked him. It wasn't the guy in the closet. The Atan Mammon is said to be a long, narrow sheet of cloth, sentient. This comes from Japan. What it does, it flies through the air at night, wrapping its body around a person's face and neck and strangles them to death. So he's not very nice. The drop bear. This comes from Australia. It's said to be around the same size as a leopard or a very large dog. It has coarse orange fur with a dark pattern on it, kind of what you see in koalas. It's said that he's heavily built. He has really powerful arms for climbing and holding on to prey. He doesn't have any canines. He's got powerful premolars as a biting tool. What he does is when he hunts, he ambushes his prey on the ground. He's up in a tree, and he can wait for long hours. What he would do was once his prey was under him, he would drop down on them. And once he was on top of them, he would bite at their jugular or strangle them to death. Said the initial impact of his weight usually stuns the prey, allowing him to bite them. This urban legend was focused on the bushwalker being dropped on by a drop bear, resulting in injury, but no stories ever said that the incident was fatal. The best part. You know, that doesn't sound too unbelievable. until you get to how you repel the drop bear. The folktale remedy is to put a fork in your hair and to rub Vegemite behind your ears and speak with an Australian accent. They made it much more believable. The Hugag. It's responsible for fallen trees. Now Canada has a moose, but America has a 13-foot tall moose-like thing that has a huge upper lip that it has to be careful not to trip on. It's said to be pretty harmless, and it has a very serious handicap. It has no knees, so it goose steps all over the place. Well, since they don't have knees, they don't lay down. So what they do is they lean up against trees to get sleep. And that is why trees fall over. Not because of beavers, not because of weak structural integrity, because of rotting wood. No, it's the hugag. They also have a way of killing the hugag. What you do is cut it 2/3 through. And when it falls, that's when you pounce on them. Because cutting it 2/3 through is not going to make it fall. Actually, this is not an American creation. Pliny the Elder actually talked about a similar creature. I think it's pronounced the Achlis, Achlis. It's got very similar traits. It's probably still a moose. Cause those hosers don't know what a moose looks like, eh? The Splinter Cat. They're usually responsible for shattered trees and also making them smoke and burn because they hit them so hard, I guess. It's a feline critter that has like a wedge-shaped nose and a very hard head. And it was said that every experienced frontiersman knows well of the activities of the Splinter Cat because they destroy trees indiscriminately. And once they've consumed as much as they want, they move on to the next, just smashing one tree after the other. They say it's a night traveler, so it's rarely observed, and that he's usually only heard. They sound much like thunder, but it's not thunder because when he hits, the sap boils as the wood explodes when he hits. And what he does is that he travels down the core once he hit it. It's almost like being hit by dynamite, sending wood shards everywhere. Has nothing to do with lightning. So, they're nothing alike. That bright light is because he hit the tree so hard, and it's only coincidence that it's during a thunderstorm. It's not lightning, people. Take these critters seriously. The Gumbaroo. It is said to be responsible for forest fires. Oh, I love the characteristics of this one. The Gumbaroo is like a bear, but it's hairless, except for a prominent eyebrow and long bristly hairs on its chin, and it's got a big shiny body. Legend has it, its hide's so tough, it can repel hornets, charging elk, and even bullets. One man said he actually took a picture of it, but taking a picture of him is very volatile, and his negative exploded. He's a very combustible beast, and whenever it gets hot, he swells up and he explodes. And that's how forest fires happen. Now the woodsmen who are in the area when these things explode said they smell burning rubber. And this became popular during the gold rush, which oddly enough, they imported eucalyptus trees for building wood and fuel, plus heavy cedar, and they were interspersed. But they also had the proclivity to explode in forest fires. No, it had nothing to do with that. It was a Gumbaroo. You know what? Actually, the Gumbaroo sounds a lot like one of my cousins. Just give him a beer and a can of gasoline, and there you go, you got a Gumbaroo. The Skunk. The Skunk was actually featured in a Wikimedia article. It's a mythical creature from the good old US of A, northern Pennsylvania. It is known to be a sad mythical creature. It's described as a hideous forest animal with grotesque, loose, scaly skin, entirely covered with warts and blemishes. And the animal is so miserable about his appearance and lack of companionship that it constantly weeps. Legend says that the skunk is easy to track because you can just follow the sound of its sobs and the salty tear-stained trail. But capturing one is much harder. When it gets greatly distressed, it literally dissolves into a puddle of tears. Ah, this sounds like a nice guy incel.
Why won't you date me? You deserve a real man, while the Chads get the girls.
Casa Obbok. I probably murdered that pronunciation, so feel free to skewer me in the comments, like some of the other ones I was too lazy to look up. The best guess that a country boy can make, I guess, because I'm a colonel from Louisville. The Casa Obbok is a very weird mythical creature, but I guess you can say it's an adorable monster. It's a 100-year-old umbrella possessed by a ghost. I don't know if that was meant to be scary or just weird. I'd love to find an umbrella that you can buy with these characteristics. It's supposed to have like one eye and a long tongue, and sometimes have arms or a leg or two. And like some of the other creatures, it really doesn't do anything. It just is. I'm gonna have to look that up, see if they sell them. Oh wow, they got like shirts and stickers and stuff. You can also get like a little lapel pin. Ooh, I like it. But I don't see an actual umbrella. That's sad. I might have to make one for myself. That'll be fun. The Bonacon. It looks like a bull, but it's not an ordinary bull. That would be boring. Unlike a regular bull, it's kind of useless at self-defense unless you're chasing it from behind, because its butt is an acid cannon. When it runs away from its attacker, it'll shoot out a huge stream of acid poop, which will consume the pursuer alive. In the Middle Ages, this was a legend, and it was believed that the dung could set anything on fire that it touched. It brings a new meaning to acid burn. Yeah, that was a dad joke. The Tianak is from Philippine mythology. One version, it's an evil dwarf-like creature that poses as a human baby. In others, it's an actual demon. Christians actually turned that around and said that it was a restless ghost of children who died unbaptized. Hooray! It's said to mimic a baby's cry so as to lure in its victim. And once picked up, it exposes huge fangs of death, and things get pretty gory. It also enjoys to do other things like confuse travelers into losing their way inside the jungles of the Philippines, using its baby cry. They said the traditional trick to escape it is to turn your clothes inside out, because he thinks it's hilarious. And unlike the real version, it kills them immediately and doesn't suck the life out of them over 18 years or more. Just kidding. I love my son. I love my son. I love my son. Ah, yes. This is my favorite. The neckbeard of the mythical world. The Piku, or the Piku. Not sure how you pronounce it. What it is, it ranges in size from small to enormous. It's very hairy, and it has large nostrils and ears. It's said to live in deep forest or rocky ridges, or if they're urbanized, in their mother's basement. Its behavior is that it's slow, stupid, and lazy. And it might turn into a rocky landscape feature for long periods of time. Also, for the urbanized version, a couch potato, or in front of a video game. It says some are aggressive and may kidnap children, or lollies, that stray too far from their home, from their family or chads, as they're commonly known as protectors. He said to secretly make hole in the teeth of children, and like the counterpart today, probably offering them sweet snacks to rot their teeth. It said that they like to promote making children fight or sulk, and do other things that displease their parents. And the counterpart, usually by example. Thank you all very much for joining me. I had fun looking these up. Well, I'm resigned to my fate of being murdered in the comments for my poor pronunciation, because I didn't look up some of it. I tried my best without actually trying too hard. But I hope you guys found these mythical beasts quite enjoyable, as I did. There's a ton of mythical beasts, cryptids, and the list goes on and on. Some of them are quite terrifying if they were actually real. Thank you all for joining me, and until next time, this is Dallas, signing off.